The JoLynn Braley Show, episode number 301, Intermittent Fasting and Binge Eating, the newest binging cycle. Hello, welcome back to the JoLynn Braley Show. This is JoLynn Braley, permanent weight loss coach, founder of the Inner Self Diet, the diet that is not a diet. And this is episode number 301 of the show. Oh my gosh. That's a lot of episodes. You know, I started the JoLynn Braley Show the first Thursday of January 2013. And today is the October 4th, 2018 episode of the show. And I can't help but smile about it. And it's pretty cool. I like doing these podcasts. I sit here in my home office recording studio. I'm here with my two Pomeranians, Happy and Little Benny. And sometimes the biggest challenge of the show is getting it done without them barking in the background. But hey, if you've never tuned in to the JoLynn Braley Show before, I am the founder of the Inner Self Diet. I am a professional permanent weight loss coach, weight loss mindset expert. I have been professionally coaching my awesome coaching clients, private coaching clients, since 2009. And the work that I do with my coaching clients, it works every time. All you have to do is do it. In fact, I just got a video today from one of the most recent graduates of the Inner Self Diet. Her name is Sally, and she is, I think she said in the video, 154 or 152 days binge free. And if you go back and listen to one of the podcasts that I did about her, that was episode number 292, and I shared in that podcast how the fact that Sally stopped binge eating instantly after enrolling in the Inner Self Diet. And that's a very unusual result because the people that I coach through my proven steps in the Inner Self Diet, they do achieve struggle-free weight loss in 8 weeks or less. And that is really fast, 8 weeks or less, when you consider the fact that these struggles start in childhood. So the people that I coach, they've been struggling for 20, 30, 40 or more years with emotional eating, binge eating, stress eating, compulsive overeating, low self-esteem, low self-confidence, hating themselves, hating their body, feeling a great amount of shame because they know exactly what they need to be doing to lose weight and they're not doing it. And these are all really, really smart people, okay? They're very smart and successful professionally, but they've never been able to get it together with the food and weight topic, which makes it even worse for them. Because just imagine, if you were somebody who was failing all around, then you'd kind of expect to also be failing with your weight. But since that's not you, since you are really smart and you're really successful professionally, then not being able to get control of your overeating and your overweight makes it even worse because you are really smart and you've done all the research. You probably know so much about nutrition that you could teach a class on it, and you're still struggling. So I just got a video today from Sally. And actually, if you go to fearlessfatloss.com/blog and then type in the search bar 301, which is the number for today's podcast episode, I will include Sally's video in this podcast post so that you can watch her video. It's very, very inspiring. And she talks about the fact that, yeah, she actually dropped, it was 30 or 40 pounds in the past, and she'd kept that off, but she was still struggling with the mindset, still struggling with binge eating, still struggling with the obsessions, the spinning that you do in your head that drives you to binge. And she came to the Inner Self Diet and she used my tools, and lo and behold, she fixed it. And she's a fantastic success story, very, very inspiring. And she's proof that you can do it too. You can do it too. All you need to do is do what she did. Hey, if you want just you just want to dip a toe in and just learn a tiny little baby pinky fingernail more, get my free ebook and you could just learn a little bit more. It's totally free. Okay, obviously that's not coaching with me, but it's a way that you can just start learning a little bit more. And in my free ebook, you will get 3 simple steps to start making weight loss easier from the inside out. You can get that at www.easyfunweightloss.com. Today's topic is this topic of intermittent fasting and binge eating being the newest binging cycle. And this is very interesting because I don't fast. And so this is not something that I've had a problem with, unless you consider the fact that when you go to bed at night and you're not getting up and eating in the middle of the night, that is technically fasting. And that's why the word breakfast is what it is, because the word is break fast. Break your fast, because you were fasting while you were sleeping. Now, there are some people who do not fast while they are sleeping. They get up in the middle of the night and they go eat food. So they never really do break their fast in the morning because they don't have a fast to break. And that's another eating disorder. That's another topic. And, I can see a very practical human reason why there's a problem with binge eating after this intermittent fasting. Because if you're fasting and you get overly hungry, there's a danger point of getting overly hungry where if you allow yourself to get to that point, you'll eat practically anything that is put in front of you. And this is something that I coach my coaching clients on, that you don't want to allow yourself to get to that point. You do want to eat when you are physically hungry and stop eating when you're physically full. But it's not good to go beyond that point of when you're already physically hungry and getting to the famished point. And possibly these people who are doing this intermittent fasting and then binging afterwards, that is another reason that they're having a problem with the binge eating. But 9 times out of 10, they are already binge eaters and they're trying to fix their overweight, thinking that this intermittent fasting will help them lose weight, when the real problem is what is causing them to binge eat in the first place, which is what made them overweight. Are you following me? Is this making sense? Just a little bit? Are you getting this? The good news is that whatever your challenges are, if you're getting up in the middle of the night and binge eating, if you hate yourself because you know exactly what you need to do to lose weight, but you're not doing it, if you can't stop using food for comfort, if you're addicted to food, if food is your only fun in life, if you can't get it together and stop overeating because you don't have anything else going on in life and food is your only fun, yeah, these are all big problems and they will keep you stuck, frustrated, fat. You're going to be fed up until you get to the point where you're totally fed up and you're willing to do something radically different to change these things. And that is the work that I do with my awesome coaching clients in the Inner Self Diet. And it is totally kick-ass awesome. Again, though, you know what? Hey, why don't you watch Sally's video, see what she has to say about it? And I told you how you could find that. Rewind this podcast if you missed the instructions on how to find her video. Let's move on and talk about this intermittent fasting and binge eating being the newest binging cycle. So, what is intermittent fasting? It kind of makes me laugh. I'm sorry. Hey, you know what? This isn't even this is not even a Get Real podcast, but I'm going to tell you right now that if you are easily offended or if you're looking for reasons to fail, if you're looking to make more excuses for why you can't lose weight, then you should just exit my podcast now because this isn't for you. Bottom line, I don't believe that you need to go on some other hokey path, and I consider this intermittent fasting hokey because why? Why do this? Intermittent fasting, when I Google this and look up what this means, okay, here's the key. All right. Intermittent fasting is an eating pattern that cycles between periods of fasting and eating. Okay, that's not the key. Here's the key. It doesn't specify which foods you should eat, but rather when you should eat them. Okay, so here's the thing. If you don't get a weight loss mindset and you don't heal the root of what made you overweight and out of control in the first place, intermittent fasting isn't going to fix this. And this is why intermittent fasting is leading to more binge eating. Because when you're a binge eater and you're overweight or obese and you're trying to fix that with intermittent fasting, thinking that it's going to help you lose weight, but you're not changing what you eat, you're not changing the portion sizes of what you eat, and then you're making yourself fast, thinking that that's going to make you lose weight. No wonder you're out of control and you try to eat the world as soon as your fast time is over. How in the world are you ever going to lose weight by binge eating after fasting? And this is what a lot of people are doing, though. Okay? It says here when I'm researching this, and I had to research it because, this is not something that I do. It's not something that I would do. It's not something that I would recommend that a coaching client would do. I mean, hey, if it works for you and you could do it without binge eating and you can do it and absolutely feel 100%, absolutely 1000% fantastic about yourself and it makes you feel total joy and happiness, well, okay, cool. This is not something that would make me feel like that because your body is designed to be fueled when it's physically hungry. Physical hunger is a good thing. All right? It's not something to try to squash or avoid. If your stomach is physically hungry, that is the sign that your body is looking for fuel. And if you feed it high octane, real food, real fuel, and you only eat enough to quell the physical hunger and you stop eating when you're physically full, you can't go wrong. And then there's no reason to do some hokey fasting to try to make yourself lose weight when the fasting isn't helping you lose weight because all you could think about is the timer and when is this fasting period going to be done so that you can go eat all kinds of whatever and binge on it, whatever you're eating, and then tell yourself, well, I'm going to fast again, and so it'll all even out. This is not healthy, in my personal opinion. And I'm not surprised that this intermittent fasting is spawning more binge eating because it's not going to fix the real problem. It's just another way to try to fix. It's a Band-Aid. It's a Band-Aid on a problem that needs to be healed at the root. And that's why I do the work that I do with my coaching clients in the Inner Self Diet. But hey, I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of people who continue this intermittent fasting and they will continue to have problems with their binge eating because they've never healed what is driving their binge eating. And that's unfortunate. But if this is you and you actually want to break free of this craziness, then what you need to do is go to the foundation of where this problem is starting. And the problem is not the fat on your body. The problem is not the food. The problem is not your binge eating. The problem is what is driving your binge eating. And you've got to change that. And you also have to change your mindset. Your mindset is 92.8% of the challenge. Because if you were to just live a healthy lifestyle, which means that you'd be eating healthy, whole, real food. You'd be eating only when you're physically hungry. You'd stop eating when you're physically full. You'd get plenty of cardio, plenty of strength training. You'd be drinking plenty of water. You'd be getting plenty of rest. Okay? All of these things that make up a healthy lifestyle, addressing your inner self daily, being with yourself instead of trying to run away from yourself and run away from your emotions, being able to feel your negative emotions instead of trying to stuff them down with food out of fear. Okay, if you were to just live a healthy lifestyle and fuel your body when your stomach is physically hungry, then you wouldn't be looking for strange ways to lose weight, which is what I consider intermittent fasting. Okay. The only type of quote unquote fasting that I see as beneficial is there's really no reason to be eating food right before you go to bed at night. So if you are a little bit hungry, because the last time you ate was 2 or 3 hours before you go to bed, I don't see why that's a big deal, because why does the body need fuel if you're going to be laying down and sleeping in a bed for 8 or 9 hours or 10 hours? And check out what I just said there, 8 or 9 or 10 hours. Does that freak you out? Do you only get about 5 hours of sleep a night? If you do, that's a big problem. Big problem, dude. You got to sleep if you want to release fat from your body. And so this is a very practical tip, a very practical weight loss tip that many, many, many women and men are either not aware of, or they think that it's not going to affect them. But if you're getting 4 or 5, if you're getting less than 8 hours of sleep a night, then you're going to have a really hard time releasing fat from your body. Okay, so there's several things that go into living a healthy lifestyle. And this whole topic of this intermittent fasting and how it's fueling more binge eating, I can absolutely see how this would work, because if you're not even eating clean when you are eating, when you're not fasting, but you're using this fasting as a trick, as a way that when you do eat, to eat all these types of unhealthy, highly sugared, highly processed foods, and then you're overeating and binging on those, and you think that the trick will be that this fasting will even it out and you'll lose weight. In my opinion, that's crazy town. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Nobody. I recommend just healing the root of the real problem that has you out of control with food. Do that, and then you'll be able to live a healthy lifestyle, and then the fat will come off and it could stay off because you're just living a healthy lifestyle. All of these little shortcuts and these little hokey things that are promoted as a way to lose weight, all it does is pack on more years of struggle, when if you were to just fix what is really the problem, and I don't know what that is for you, because I have no idea who you are unless I'm personally working with you, personally coaching you privately in the inner self diet. I don't know what is going on with you. How would I know that? I am just sitting here in my home office recording studio, recording this podcast. For all I know, you could be a cat listening to this podcast. That's as much as I know about you. But I do know that if you're out of control with eating, if you're not living a healthy lifestyle, I know that if you don't heal the root of the problem, you will continue to struggle. And that's just a fact. It's just a fact. Anything that you try to apply on top of the real problem, it's just going to be a Band-Aid. But you could set yourself free of these food and weight struggles if you heal the root, if you take the time to address that and to actually take time with yourself instead of continuing to run away from yourself and trying to run away from your negative emotions and trying to run away from anything that you perceive as negative in your life and using food to try to squash all of that stuff. If you just stop running and start healing your inner self, you can break free of this stuff. And then you won't have to look for any more fad weight loss cures. Does this make sense? Are you getting this? It's time for a commercial break here on the JoLynn Braley Show. And a few moments ago, I mentioned a practical weight loss tip, which has to do with the amount of sleep and the type of sleep that you get each night. And so today's sponsor of the JoLynn Braley Show is www.21practicalweightlosstips.com. www.21practicalweightlosstips.com. And that's a 2 and a 1, practicalweightlosstips.com. Head on over there right now and get my free download. I put together a total of 21 practical weight loss tips for you. And if you just do them, they actually work. Now, I will tell you the truth that they are very, very simple, but if you don't have the right mindset, then it's going to be a challenge for you to just do them. And actually, when you don't have a weight loss mindset, that lack of a weight loss mindset keeps you on the hunt for more hokey weight loss fad diets and fad tricks and things when, you have a human body. The human body is supposed to get physically hungry. When it's physically hungry, you need to give it fuel. Healthy, whole, wonderful, whole foods, real food, fuel. You stop giving the body fuel when the gas tank is full. Not stuffed, but full. This is just practical living, okay? And the problem is that binge eaters and emotional eaters and late night stuffers, none of these behaviors, these eating disorders, are not about physical hunger. So you got to go back to basics, heal the root of what is driving you to be abusing yourself with food, and then use my practical weight loss tips to lose weight and keep it off. And you can get my free download once again at www.21practicalweightlosstips.com. Okay, a couple questions to ask yourself on each episode of the JoLynn Braley Show. I give you questions to ask yourself. This is a self-questioning period of the JoLynn Braley Show. You can get a lot out of this totally free weight loss podcast if you grab pen and paper. And then what you do is you write down each question and then write down your answer to each question. Why do I suggest you do this? Because when you write pen on paper, there's a connection that occurs between the head, the hand, and the heart that you cannot get if you don't write pen on paper. You don't get the connection if you type on a keyboard. You don't get any connection if all you do is just listen to me talk. It pretty much goes in one ear and out the other. But when you put pen on paper, then you're connecting with yourself, and it also helps you to get out of your head, to stop spinning and get present, to stop running and get present in the moment with yourself. Okay? So I highly recommend you do it. But hey, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do anything I say, because This is just a free weight loss podcast, right? Only do what I'm suggesting if you want to get the most out of it. And you can pause this podcast if you need more time. Okay, so first question. What are my top 3 ahas that I've gotten from this podcast so far today? What are my top 3 ahas that I've gotten from this podcast so far today? Of course, you're asking yourself this question. I would expect that you would be getting some ahas that don't even have anything to do with intermittent fasting because of what I was sharing about fad diets and the constant search and the mindset. But anyway, only you can answer this question for yourself. Again, the question, what are my top 3 ahas that I've gotten from this podcast so far today? Question number 2, does it make sense to me that if I were to heal the root of what's driving my out of control eating, that then I would just be able to live a healthy lifestyle, which means I could lose weight and keep it off? Does it make sense to me that if I were to heal the root of what is driving my out of control eating, because then if I were to do that, I could just live a healthy lifestyle and then lose weight and keep it off? Number 3 question, what are all my fears that are coming up based on the number 2 question? What are all my fears that are coming up based on that number 2 question? Because a lot of people, they don't even trust themselves because they're so used to looking for fad diets and these other people telling them, oh, eat this, don't eat this, eat like this, don't do that. And they don't listen to themselves. They don't trust themselves. They don't trust their own body. And so the question in number 2 might bring up a lot of fears for you to even imagine breaking free of your ongoing battles with food and your weight. Again, pause this podcast as you need time. Hey, if you've got 20 fears, you want to take time to write them all down. Number 4 question, what would life be like for me if I really could achieve freedom from my ongoing food and weight struggles? What would life be like for me if I really could achieve freedom from my ongoing food and weight struggles? And write down details in all areas of your life, not just your weight, but how, if you could break free of these ongoing battles that you have, how would you feel about yourself? What would happen with your self-esteem? What would happen with your self-confidence? What about your relationships? What about your sex life? What about your work life? How would it impact your bank account? Because obviously, if you were feeling fantastic about yourself and feeling confident about yourself, then clearly that's going to impact your work life, your career life, your business. Are you following? See, this problem, it has tentacles that intersect into every area of your life. People come to me because they want to lose weight or they want to stop binge eating, they want to stop emotional eating, they want to stop struggling. But when they heal the root of what is driving their unhealthy behaviors, that transformation actually transforms their entire life. It's really amazing. Okay, so what are we on now? Is this number 5 question or number 6? I have lost count, but you will know because you are writing all this down pen on paper. Okay, so next question, whatever it is, 5 or 6, who is my coach? Who is my coach? Why would you ask yourself this question? Because everyone knows that coaching is the fastest path to success. Because when you work with the right coach, they help you see what you cannot see. And you cannot see your own blind spots. And this is true for everybody. Nobody can see their own blind spots. That's why if you want to succeed and you want to succeed fast, you get coaching. Of course, you want to get the right kind of coaching and you want to, work with somebody who has a proven system that has worked for everybody that has come before you. All right, so make sure that you answer those questions for yourself if you want to get the most out of this totally free podcast. If you are not concerned about getting the most out of this totally free podcast, then, of course, don't answer those questions. It is all up to you. And that is what is really cool, is that You can absolutely break free of your food and weight struggles once and for all. There is no reason why you cannot do that. You have to get the steps. You've got to do the work. You've got to follow instructions. You've got to make the effort for yourself. But if you were willing to do that, you could absolutely break free of your food and weight struggles. And there's nobody out there who is holding you back. Nobody is keeping you fat. Nobody's holding you down. Nobody's making you frustrated, fed up. Nobody is making you stuck. It's only you. And it's your mindset. And it's your blind spots. And it's your unconscious inner self programming. And what's really cool is all of that can be changed if you really want to make the change. And actually, next week, on next week's podcast of the JoLynn Braley Show, that'll be episode number 302. I'm going to talk about that exact topic. And this is inspired from last night's Survivor episode, which I was watching. I'm a Survivor fan, and I got an idea watching that last night. And so that's what we're going to talk about next week. Specifically, we're going to talk about what Natalie, she's a contestant on Survivor, what Natalie can teach you about permanent weight loss. It's really neat. I love watching Survivor because of the psychology of that show. And so you just might get an aha moment next week. So make sure that you are subscribed to the JoLynn Braley Show. You can find the JoLynn Braley Show in many podcast outlets: Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Where else? iTunes. You can even find it in that little podcast app on your iPhone, that little purple icon. Just search for the JoLynn Braley Show. It's free to subscribe. You don't want to miss out on these weekly episodes. And you want to make sure that you tune in next week, especially if you're having a problem with making changes. You know, I said a moment ago that you can absolutely break free of your food and weight struggles, but you're not going to do it ever by continuing to live as you are now. And it's very interesting because that's what most people want. They want the change, but they want to get the change by continuing to live and be and do exactly what they're doing right now. And when you hear that, it sounds a little bit crazy, doesn't it? But this is what most people want. They want the weight loss, but they want the weight loss their way. They want to live as they are. They want to keep eating the foods that they're eating. They want to keep eating the quantities of food that they're eating. They want to keep eating when they're eating. And they want the weight loss. Well, it's not going to happen. You are going to have to learn how to do new things and learn how to do things differently so that you can achieve struggle-free weight loss that lasts. If you really are serious about ending your binge eating, ending your emotional eating, stopping the yo-yo diet cycle, stopping the cycle of fasting and then binge eating, well, you're going to have to learn how to do something new. You gotta. And there's no way around that. So it all comes down to a decision. Hey, if you are serious about ending your food and weight struggles and doing it as fast as possible, if you recognize that you are very smart and successful professionally, but you don't know how to end your food and weight struggles permanently on your own, you need the tools, you need the help, you need the coaching, and you want to get this done as quickly as possible, then your first step is to go over to www.discovery-session.com, www.discovery-session.com. Enter your first name, enter your best email address, click the button, and then on the next page, there will be a big red button. As of the time of this recording, that's how it's set up. On the next page, there is a big red button that you need to click, and that will open up an application. And that's an application for you to complete with full details to apply for a complimentary one-on-one weight loss discovery session with me over the phone to find out if or how I can help you personally end your food and weight struggles in 8 weeks or less. And you get started with that now at www.discovery-session.com. I am JoLynn Braley, permanent weight loss coach, founder of the Inner Self Diet. I wish you your best life living inside of your ideal body.